It is 8 o'clock. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Adam Makes Beer. My name is Adam, and welcome to the November live stream. I've got a little amber lager in the glass, so that's tasty. Often. I don't know why there's other beers. Typically, I'm tasting the lighter beers that I have on. I'm kind of tracking those, so that would be nice. I think I'm gonna have 2 pints of this tonight, and sometimes you really do kind of need to. It can kind of sound like a joke, but sometimes you need to sit down with a couple of pints of something and kind of wrap your mind around it a little bit. And Platinum, no man, I do not have a kegerator, keezer, whatever other words you want to put together for how they do that for like a keg fridge or something at the house. I don't have that. I do have some canned beer that I'll bring from work. Usually it's we have, so they're in these labels. These are the extras that I will can for competition. So if I need 6 beers for competition, we'll can 8 in case like we drop one and bust one or something like that while we're getting ready to ship. So typically for this, you'll see me pouring out of these, which means that these were beers that were canned for competition, and I just didn't. They're just the extras, the safety net, really. But so no, I don't have beer on tap at the house. I probably don't drink enough beer at the house for that. And yeah, I'm at the age and number of kids that I have, the 6 kids I have, the age I'm at, man. If I have a beer or 2 at night when I get home, I'm just gonna fall asleep anyway, and I don't have time for that. So no, I don't do that. But a little airborne amber lager in the glass right now. Man, I'm pleased with it. I don't know, that's fun. It's good to sit down and be with you all tonight. We've got some fun stuff coming out. We have some really great stuff going on the channel, and I really have to tell you, man, I appreciate it so much. The tuning into the live streams, the liking, the comments, sharing, all that stuff is such a huge benefit to me and to the channel. We really appreciate it. We are up to 1,700 subs, which is crazy to me. It's really been awesome. It's really been awesome. As a matter of fact, we're like 7 months into releasing content, and we just got monetized, which is, it's wild to me. What I Googled said that 0.25% of YouTube channels are monetized. That number might be higher, but I do know only about 8% of YouTube channels have 1,000 subs. So I just really appreciate all of your support and everything like that. I'm really excited about where the channel is at right now and where we're going to be going, because I think we're just going to be, I think it's just going to build on itself, man. And I think we're going to do a lot of fun stuff. You know, I want this thing to be about, like, not just me telling you, hey, this is exactly how you do this, but really much more of, hey, this is my journey, right? This is what I'm learning. This is where I'm at now. And this is how I'm trying to get better. And I think that's, you know, ideally what this whole beer making thing is about. So anyways, yeah, if your new wife is watching the live stream with you, that is love. That is a good woman. Hello, Mrs. Platinum. Respect. Good evening. Hopefully you're having a nice beverage, whether it be beer, wine, cocktail. And that's awesome for you sitting down with your man and engaging. That's awesome. I like it. So running through things, man. Yeah, 1,700 subs. That's awesome. Keep sharing it. Make sure to get it out to people. the more we grow this thing, the more cool things I'm going to be able to start doing. I want to, I don't know. I want to do more collabs. I want to use this channel as a way to create opportunities for me to do new things, learn new things, so I can share them with all of you. There is that. We just released fully a series called Brew School, which I actually had a buddy of mine named Dustin, a good, dear friend of mine. He came in and recorded me for the entirety of a brew day, and it was a lot of fun. So what you don't know behind the scenes is some of the stuff that you're seeing. So like that brew school, the Brew School series that just wrapped, I recorded in February, okay? And yeah, obviously there's a long layover. For this channel, I started recording essentially first of the year, and we didn't release our first video until like May 18th. So we had several months of video. So some of that footage that you're seeing is old, and so I was having a hard time being natural on camera. And so my boy Dustin was like, well, let me come in and I'll record you. And then so you don't have to think about that. And you can just talk to me and explain to me, you know, like what the brew day is and how that goes. And it was really a game changer for me. I think I feel a lot more comfortable in that one. And it comes across some of the really early videos. I might seem a little stiff, you know, but that was one of the first times that I felt like, I don't know, it was really cool and conversational. And so when I was going back and looking at that footage, I was going to chop it up and try to make like a shorter, more compressed series. And then I was looking at it, I'm like, well, let me roll the dice and just see like what it's really like a long form approach to it, right? Where I want you to have that feeling of I'm talking to you, you're behind the camera, right? And you're just seeing everything that we're doing in process. The response to this series has been really, really great. I'm going to continue to mix things up because not all of my footage is like that with someone recording me. I think there's something a little bit intangible having somebody behind the camera rather than me, you know, setting it up on a stand or holding it with my hand or something like that. But we're going to try a lot of different stuff, but really big picture, I'm going to keep bringing you content based on the brew days that we're doing, full recipes, and really trying to explain what we have going on with all of that stuff. I had a story. Where'd it go? Hold on a second. I'm coming right back. I was drinking. Oh. I was drinking coffee just before this because I get up early, and so sometimes you have to try to ramp back up. And I realized this mug is, I mean, it's supposed to be like a beer mug, but I drink coffee in it. This coffee mug for me is basically one of the main reasons I ended up getting into the industry. So this was actually awarded for a gold medal in the Brews Cruise competition. This was probably back in, oh golly, I don't know, 2007, 8, maybe 9, in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And so if you got gold, boom, you got one of these mugs. And it just so happened I won a good number of these mugs. And I'd never done anything with them. And so for the longest time now, I just like them. I don't know, they're cool. They're cool coffee cups. I like drinking out of them. But because I had the success in this Brews Cruise competition, they wrote an article about me in our local small town paper. And it kind of put me on the radar of the first brewery that I work for. So just, you see me sipping out of this. This was part of the stepping stone upward and onward for me. A little bit of coffee, a little bit of beer. Before I forget, also today, boom, we are going to be doing a giveaway, giving away 3 of these. When I say we, what I really mean is my man Food Science Podcast. Let me look that up real quick. Let me check him out. I apologize for not remembering it clean off the top. Let me check my post. Hey, check out Floor Brewing if you haven't. Check out Floor Brewing if you haven't, because she has cool stuff on there. The Food Engineer podcast, a Spanish language podcast, but I'm sure the supermajority of my viewership is smart enough that they just knock those things out. They've got multiple languages, so you know. But check it out. These things are awesome. They're very, very detailed, basically brew journal. Very cool calculations in the front. Fantastic brew logs in here. He has these things, the Food Engineer podcast. He has these things available on Amazon. You can get them hardcover, softcover. We're going to be giving out 3 of them today. And yeah, it's going to be a good time. We'll see if we can dig up that. We'll see if we can dig up that link for the Discord. If I can't, maybe actually that might screw me up. I will figure out a way to throw it in there. Dave P, if you can do it, that's awesome. Otherwise, we'll get it figured out, and then we'll post it in YouTube, like as a YouTube posting, right? So for some of my YouTube people, we'll see that. Yeah. Platinum respect, Adam. I love your content. So many brew tubers, no names, do 20 to 30-minute videos that are just so filled with unneeded info. Love your approach and teaching style. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So what else do we have going on? I had this is probably one of the crazier things that's happened to me in the brewery in a while. And it just happened this past week, and I just realized that it happened today. So I have an over-under hot liquor tank and then mash tun on top of it. Okay, so they're right on top of each other. There's a separation between the two of them. And inside my hot liquor tank, how it's all plumbed up is when I need to top that off, like if I've been using hot water out of the hot liquor tank all day, I have to fill that back up toward the end of the day. So I have a full tank of hot water the next day, right? So I fill that back up, and then typically what happens is there's a standpipe inside of it. So it's an 1.5-inch pipe that goes up, and then when the water level hits that point, it just pours down onto the floor. I see the water hit the floor. I turn the water off. Easy peasy, right? So, I mean, we've been doing that for 2 years. Typically, what I do is we kind of have a quarterly acid cleaning that we run on our hot liquor tank, because our water throws a ton of scale, and it's like we are pulling eggshells out of there. Okay, that's how scaly my water is here. And but we just turned acid on it like a couple weeks ago. And anyway, so the tank's in great shape, and I know it. And so the other day we were filling up the HLT, and Josh was in the cooler and I was in the kitchen, and we both heard a big bang, and it was almost like somebody just really slammed the lid to the kettle or the mash tun closed. We both ran in, and then we heard another big slam, and we're like, all right. And then we looked, and water was coming out of the bottom of the HLT. So we turned the water off, and we're like, well, that was really strange. We couldn't figure out why it did that, right? We were thinking maybe it was something on the steam side, throwing cold water onto the hot walls of the steam jacketed hot liquor tank. Dude, what ended up really happening is that standpipe almost completely filled with scale. So it's an 1.5-inch pipe. You could, see through it, put your hand into it partially, right? I could barely get the tip of my pinky in the top, because it was so clogged up with hard water because when I run CIP on that, I don't get acid down the standpipe, and it never really dawned on me, right? So I'm like, oh man, what are we gonna have to do? And I was worried. Like my first panic thing is, I'm like, dude, am I gonna have to have this thing, cut out and then re-welded back in, blah blah blah? Because I didn't think there would be a connection on the bottom of the tank. I was worried there wouldn't be a connection on the bottom of the tank for me to push acid up into it with a pump, right? Because we'll run an acid product to help descale that. Because I couldn't get acid down it flowing, I knew I'd have to get it pumping up through. So I crawled back there, got underneath, and there is a ferrule. The ferrule is just a little connection that allows us to start putting clamps and elbows and stuff on. That's the connection point for all of our brewery Legos, right? Is a ferrule. And so it did have a ferrule. So we're able to rig it up and pump it to where we can get that done. But I think we probably have the majority of that scale out of there. I'm going to wait on Monday to take a look at it once it's dry and everything, and make sure that it's shiny in there. I want to see shiny stainless. I don't want to see anything dull in there. I don't have to worry about this again for a while. But what it did was I actually built pressure in that hot liquor tank, because my capacity to evacuate water out of that standpipe was less than what I was pushing into it. And I actually put water all the way to the top, and it actually buckled the difference between the mash tun up top and the top of the hot liquor tank. It didn't create a ton of damage in my mash tun, but there's some braces that run alongside. So like if you're looking at this is the doorway to the mash tun right now, there's braces that run into the mash tun that hold up the false bottom. Two of those braces got cracked off of the outside shell. I don't have any other broken welds or anything like that. So yeah, it was really crazy. So just really a note out there for anybody on the pro side. If you have a combination of these things, if you have a standpipe inside your hot liquor tank to drop excess water, and you build scale in particular, really keep an eye on it, man. But I'm not gonna lie, I really think we got fortunate. I mean, from a safety standpoint, yes, I'm not super concerned about that, but definitely from a cost standpoint, we could have had some real damage with those tanks. We do have some. Looks like it'll be a relatively easy fix. Still, you never want to spend money when you don't have to. But that was my wild thing this week, was that craziness with the hot liquor tank. Okay, coffee's gone. On to beer. That's my intro stuff. We're gonna have some more cool stuff coming up this month, you guys. I'm still kind of deciding. I obviously did the pro series, that brew school one. I'm going to start coming back through some of the footage I have, and figuring out what I'm going to start popping out next. Again, some of them will be different styles, maybe not as in depth as the last one, but we'll see how it goes. And what else? Yeah, dude, I think that's it. I do want to not give away, but I do want to tell you my favorite. This is my favorite comment of the month. I'm going to keep an eye out for the best comment that I get every month. And Bannon TV on YouTube is in no danger of finding out that I'm about to talk about him, because I don't think he will watch any more of my content after sending me this message. This is attached to the brew school one. I'm an apprentice in a German brewery. The atmosphere in your brew house is very chill. ... Too chill for my taste. We multitask a lot. Filming video would not be possible. Well, Bannon TV. First of all, it sounds like a hoot where you guys work. It sounds like you're having a great time. And hey, good for you. Now, I would like to clarify some things. I mentioned earlier that we recorded this in February. January, February are the two slowest months probably in our industry. Also, I had two people that were working with me, Josh and Maggie, who I was just training up, and they were really getting to the point to where I was nudging them out of the nest on doing more and more things like independently. So I was in a situation where like I had literally nothing to do other than turn work that day. So I could turn work, talk about it. Dustin was there. We could interact. But yeah, man, my boss isn't worried about it. But I'm glad you are. Enjoy your less chill work environment, and I'll enjoy my chill work environment. He's not getting, listen, Bannon, you're not getting this. Okay. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Besides, I don't know if there's measurements in there for metric or not. There probably is because it's thorough and actually a very cool thing. But yeah, so that's my guy. Okay, who else? So platinum respect. So by the way, I think I just said platinum respect, like with a K on the end of it. Platinum respect. It would be September and June that wants to know where I put that pinky. Hopefully you were listening September, and you don't have a standpipe, a Scaly standpipe in your hot liquor tank. My goodness, it was insane. Love you too, man. But yeah, so platinum respect. So when I'm turning any tank, whether it was the hot liquor tank today or the a fermenter, whatever, what we're doing is the vessel itself is the receptacle for the cleaning chemical. Okay, so it's holding the cleaning chemical, caustic, acid, sanitizer, what have you. So I'm pumping off the bottom of that tank into the pump. I'm drawing off the bottom of the tank into the pump and then returning it up and out, up through usually the CIP arm. That goes to a spray ball in the top of the tank. It goes through the spray ball, hits the sides of the tank, and then collects at the bottom where it's circulated, right? I would recommend go ahead and dig into, I believe it's my tutorial playlist, and you can get a really good look at, and that's probably when I'm a little bit more serious at them, but it's a really thorough step-by-step of what that whole CIP process looks like. So jump back into some of those playlists and see. I think it'll give you a good visual of what's going on with that process. So yeah, Bannon had me laughing with that. I needed to yeah, it is what it is. I have to say though, I have not had people saying mean things to me, which is cool. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you feel as if you got any value out of the video, please like and subscribe. There are also other videos that you can watch. They're gonna maybe be over here or over here. Appreciate you watching.